Hey guys, what's going on? Kevin Cage back with another daily cryptocurrency video. Like and subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get right into the information today. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video where we will be going over the DTCC, and keep in mind, they do not send small payments. We're talking $1.6 quadrillion per year. And that's correct, 1.6 quadrillion. I'm not making up numbers. These are legitimate figures. But to start things off in the beginning, because I like to finish off strong, we will, let's see here. Right here, shared by Magic Poop Cannon, my favorite Twitter handle to say. When will I sell my XRP position? I will probably never sell because I'm banking on it potentially becoming a world reserve digital currency. If it does, there will be no reason to sell because I already possess the currency. That could also be true for Bitcoin as a store of value. And keep in mind, this is not my viewpoint entirely, but not financial advice. If I were you, I would at least hold a portion of XRP for long term, because you never know if these crazy predictions of 3, 4, even 5 figures per XRP someday turn out to be accurate. It wouldn't hurt to save, 1,000 XRP just in case. All right. But keep in mind, it's all about risk management. This is your hard earned money, guys. You have to learn, and you have to learn exit plans as well accordingly. And you know what? Say you did exit when XRP hit $5 or $10 and you paid off all your debt, or, whatever your, specific situation is. What happens if XRP went back down again? Then you could pay off your debt and even, strengthen your position. Anything's possible. You can try to write a plan, but I'll most likely succumb to emotions at some point. And that's why you have to write a plan, hold yourself accountable, and really buckle up, because I think things are going to get moving. Keep in mind, it's well over a 1.5 year bear market now. When things get moving, I think a lot of us have forgotten what a cryptocurrency bull run feels like. And keep in mind, that was only speculation. Wait until utility kicks in. It's going to be a challenge for me too. I'm not on a pedestal. I'm right there with you guys. All right, XRP_Anderson, so XRP Neo. So I think you'll be able to buy from Binance soon as a United States citizen. So Binance's US arm to go live within 2 months, says CZ, CEO of Binance. So exciting times. I love Binance. They have tons and tons of liquidity. I'm also really starting to become a fan of Bitrue with their 50+ pairs. I know the XRP community loves that, and I really hope that they start to establish, a lot more liquidity, because right now, if I do large orders, Binance is my choice. All right, so regulation is coming. Binance is continuing to get a slice of the pie. Perhaps we'll see BNB go back up in value as well. All right, this is a really cool thread, so pay attention. Yes, I will be reading it verbatim because it is extremely well put together and eloquent. So this is Thal Rathar on Twitter. Definite follow. We're talking about R3 and Voltron. Here we go. And keep in mind, just so you guys know, remember R3 back in 2018, R3 launches the Universal Settler application to facilitate global payments on Corda, open source blockchain platform. XRP, the first settlement mechanism. So now let's read. Some people ask me, what's the possible connection between R3's Voltron and the XRPL, or the XRP ledger? Corda is the name of R3's ecosystem. Keep in mind, R3 is, 300 plus consortium of the highest tiered, not only financial institutions, but banks and, payment service providers in the world. They are very high profile in the world of trade finance. All right, comprised of dozens of core dApps, Corda decentralized applications or distributed applications, just applications that run on the Corda platform, facilitating different use cases. One of those core dApps within trade finance is called Voltron. Voltron is an open source blockchain-based platform initiative to create, exchange, approve, and issue letters of credit. For example, with a certain transition inherently cross-border when letter of credits are issued from a buyer to a seller, trust is the main issue today. The seller doesn't want to send the goods in advance, and the buyer doesn't want to pay up front. There's counterparty risk on each end. All right, that's trust. That's where the buyer and seller's banks come in as intermediaries to act as the middleman. Transactions will be guaranteed to go through once a letter of credit is issued by the buyer. Once the bill of lading, goods underway, is attached to the letter of credit by the seller, process abbreviated. 1, the seller will be paid by its bank. 2, the buyer's bank pays off the seller's bank. And then 3, the buyer pays his selling bank. All right, and it is settled. You see how many steps this takes? It's not only costly as well, but again, I don't entirely believe intermediaries will disappear. But this is timely. Not only timely, but time costs money as well. All right, so this is where Corda Settler comes in. The most important thing to understand is that all Corda apps or Corda apps are interoperable on the Corda platform. There are no silos. Citation: Corda Settler is a Corda app allowing settlement using off-ledger payment rails. Off-ledger. Now, it's easily interoperable with other Corda apps, including your own. Supports cryptocurrency digital payments as well as traditional banking APIs, and returns a cryptographic proof of settlement. Furthermore, R3's co-founder, Todd McDonald, is quoted to say this: "A key challenge for the adoption of blockchain technology at scale will be avoiding having blockchain implementations become isolated systems, unable to plug into what exists today." And that's what Thar was referring to as silos, these walled gardens. All right, Corda Settler is an initial step to bridge the emerging and existing world. And then he goes on to say, what's interesting, Mr. McDonald states, bridge the emerging and existing world. What settlement mechanisms are currently available on Corda Settler? Number one, we know the Swift GPI, possibly referring to the existing world, and two, the XRP ledger, which is already known, vice versa, for the emerging world where we are going towards. This is mere speculation. And of course, he warns that, so I appreciate it. But this is not just mere speculation. This is deductive reasoning. This is intelligent speculation. If you can't speculate, then, why are you investing? Because that is what successful investors do long term. You have to, of course, stay grounded and keep reminding yourself, but you have to look at this information in question. And this is where the foresight is. This is where the risk, this is where the money is made long term, by foreseeing something that people didn't see. All right. Now, but how likely that the old and the new will be interconnected at some point? Now to the factual part. Posted this in one of his tweets, Thar's tweets. See the attached picture for the need of an intermediate cryptocurrency. So they need a bridge currency, verbatim. And the prerequisites should adhere, ideally, for 912. So let's just take a look at the 3 points here. All right, so features of the intermediate cryptocurrency that they need. First, it should be widely adopted, understood, because we need corridors, we need everybody to be connected, widely adopted. We need various API plugins. We need interoperability. Okay. Second, it should have a stable market value. And of course, that is an absolute need. Tons of speculation. Even Ripple has said that they want XRP to be at a high enough value, and then it'll be stabilized. Keep in mind, the more liquidity there is, the harder it is for the currency to move and the less volatile it is, which is great. The higher liquidity that can transfer higher value requires a higher price, and we need a high price to at least serve for the liquidity of all of the various markets between R3, between RippleNet's partners, between all of these various use cases that they've been working on for 5+ years. All right. And then they talk about public currencies. Notice they only talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Public cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and others are not backed by assets and have no inherent value from assets backed in a third party. And I'm trying to read this, so bear with me. As is the use case with central or commercial bank money, but only speculative market value. This contributes to high volatility and hence the potential risk of loss during cash out. All right. And remember, Ripple, at least the company, they are really incentivizing market makers and liquidity providers, MMs and LPs, to create liquidity so that, and incentivizing them to make sure that they can make money too. And there's different types of slippage that we can see. There's consumption slippage, and then I'm blanking on the other form of slippage. Is it just mere volatility slippage? But again, this is what we're doing. We're ensuring that there can be a high value. It's going to be less volatile when there's more money in the ecosystem. And keep in mind the benefit, what I read in one of the previous videos, is remember, Ripple's escrow supply can potentially be pre-sold to additional buyers. It is not as risky. It's going to be a lot more volatile when the price is actually high where they want it to be, because there's going to be groups, and yes, you might not like it. It's not fully decentralized, but it's more decentralized in terms compared to Bitcoin. But they're actually going to have guarantees. Whether you believe in this pre-allocation theory of the IMF or central banks or large institutions buying a lot more than we know of, it is still going to be held. It's going to have at least a little more control and be less volatile. And yes, the high price is what they all want. It's in their all best interest. Please do not write FUD comments down below. And then third, it ideally should have deep liquidity. And that's exactly what we're talking about. And we'll talk about the DTCC and the potential implications, because they have said, they've been quoted that they will be going live in December of 2019 before end of year. And they said they're scared. I mean, it's scary because this is real money they are moving. Keep in mind, annually, the DTCC moves $1.6 quadrillion per year. That's insane. All right, so let's get right into this. So we got Wrath of Kahneman. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. So W and then Kahneman. So the DTCC has released a white paper with Ripple implementing Accenture about DLT governance. Remember, Accenture is the company that really helps all of these strategic digital transformations for not only Swift, R3, IBM, all of these huge institutions that might be legacy or just want to create interoperability. Accenture is a monster. We've covered them in the past plenty of times. All right, it's a mature overview of an operational model set forth by a large US player. And right here, tagging Darren Moore, the one and only. So definitely follow this guy. All right. And then right here, just another tweet here. Ripple, multi-hop, ILP, interledger protocol, bridge every people, all organizations, and all assets classes connect together in one world, bigger ecosystem. Remember, whether it's Swift GPI, which is what they're kind of using today, that's not solving. And, it still keeps the $27 trillion locked up. These pre-funded accounts, the pre-funded capital globally. They're losing money for so many reasons. I mean, well beyond just, inflation and counterfeiting issues. This is not going to be sustainable, and they already know that. All right. So again, 1.6 quadrillion or 1,600 trillion, however you want to say it. And then, of course, you can see right here, processes approximately US dollars, 1.6 quadrillion in securities transactions annually. They can capture an unparalleled depth and breadth of detail on transactions and securities issues. Remember, this is the type of this is as deep as liquidity gets, in my opinion. If you're talking quadrillions, I can't even fathom. We can't even fathom the price of XRP. If that was 100% market share, let's just be generous and even imagine 0.1% of this market captured in securities for the DTCC. That would be unbelievable. All right, so I don't want to be too much hype, but you can't really help it when you're looking at these numbers and you're looking at the connections and you're watching these videos of the people at DTCC discussing this day in and day out about the need for DLT, and they never talk about XRP, but all of their pain points are literally naming XRP without, saying it. And that's what a lot of the smart people in this community are realizing. All right, so right here, we got the white paper, Accenture and DTCC, governing DLT networks, distributed ledger technology governance for private permissioned networks. And then right here, I wanted to go right here, so the DTC working with Accenture. We've been talking about that, of course. They're helping all of these strategic digital migrations. And then a little fun thing I just want to show you is, of course, we already talked about this, but look, public crypto networks, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and some private DLT networks enable all nodes to validate transactions, but many other DLT platform implementations limit validation to the parties to a transaction, and all other parties will not have access. The entitlement and confidentiality models manage this. So it's funny, they only talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're never really name dropping it. It makes you wonder why. Maybe it's because if they release that info, price would skyrocket. Are their NDAs disclosed? Are they actually piloting XRP? Or maybe their clients are. It doesn't have to be the DTCC per se, but the big players are working. You just saw the previous video I released with ACI Worldwide. We're talking trillions of dollars in market capitalization. And yes, market capitalization does not mean anything when you're talking about a digital asset, XRP, specifically designed to bridge global value. It doesn't matter. Market cap is going to be irrelevant. I'm curious by end of year in December when CoinMarketCap actually reevaluates what they're doing and how they're going to list everything. Perhaps they are in cahoots and something is going to happen. Again, I'm going to try to keep my feet on the ground. Maybe this bear market is getting me a little too excited. And yes, just so you know, I'm excited for XRP price appreciation, but I'm still trying to stick to the facts. And yes, whether XRP goes up or down, it doesn't matter. I can still keep myself, taken care of. But this potential is just too big to ignore. So you better believe that, yes, I'm invested. And emotionally, absolutely. I read, 8 hours a day. I can't help it. I'm excited. But all right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Again, I have plenty of videos on the DTCC. We've talked about Accenture. We've talked about, ACI Worldwide. We've talked about the connections and various RippleNet partners, 250 plus. the contracts day in and day out. We talked about different people going live. My question is this, though. Is the DTCC going to do a slow scale and, transact very small amounts, just like XRP right now with XRapid? They're very small, low values, probably $5,000 to $10,000 for the remittance payments. When are they going to go to the next step for added liquidity? Do we need to get maybe to that, $5 mark, closer past that all-time high again to go to the next stage? I'm not sure. Let me know your thoughts down below, but math doesn't lie. All you know is if this money were to ever be moved, we're talking 3 to 4 digits long term. Yes, that's very, very hopeful. Let's stick to the facts for now. Let's get to $1 first, but I still want to discuss this. All right? Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.